Today our topic is the dark side of pleasure, Stoic insights. Let us talk about how pleasure, while it feels good, can sometimes lead us to problems if we are not careful. The Stoics, who were ancient philosophers, had a lot to say about this. They believed that life is not about chasing pleasure, but about living with wisdom, courage, justice, and self-control. They warned us that pleasure can be a trap. It can make us weak, distract us from what is important, and even control us if we let it. This does not mean that pleasure is bad, but it means we must be careful with it. Let us explore this idea more deeply. Pleasure feels good, and that is why we want it. Eating delicious food, buying new things, or relaxing all day can make us happy in the moment. But the Stoics believe that these pleasures can become problems if we depend on them too much. For example, if you always want to eat your favorite food, you might start to feel unhappy when you cannot have it. Or if you always want to buy new things, you might spend all your money and then feel stressed. The Stoics taught us that pleasure is not the key to a good life. Instead, they said that true happiness comes from within, from living a life of virtue and understanding what is truly important. The Stoics also warned us about the dangers of seeking too much pleasure. When we chase pleasure, we can become slaves to it. Think about it. If you always want to feel good, you might start to avoid things that are hard or uncomfortable. But life is full of challenges, and avoiding them will not make them go away. The Stoics believed that facing difficulties with courage and strength is what makes us grow. They said that pleasure can make us lazy and weak if we let it control us. Instead of running away from pain, they taught us to accept it and learn from it. This is how we become stronger and wiser. Another problem with pleasure is that it can distract us from our goals. Imagine you have a big project to finish, but instead of working on it, you spend hours watching videos or playing games. You might feel good in the moment, but later you will feel stressed because you did not do what you needed to do. The Stoics believe that we should focus on what is important and not let pleasure distract us. They said that self-control is one of the most important virtues because it helps us stay on track and achieve our goals. Without self-control, we can easily get lost in the pursuit of pleasure and forget what really matters. The Stoics also taught us that pleasure is often short-lived. Think about the last time you bought something new. You probably felt excited at first, but after a while, that feeling faded. This is because pleasure does not last. The Stoics said that if we base our happiness on things that are temporary, we will always be chasing after the next thing. Instead, they believed that true happiness comes from within, from living a life of virtue and doing what is right. They said that we should not depend on external things for our happiness because they can be taken away from us at any time. Instead, we should focus on developing our character and being the best version of ourselves. One of the most important Stoic ideas is that we cannot control everything in life, but we can control how we respond to it. This is especially true when it comes to pleasure. We cannot always have what we want, but we can choose how we react when we do not get it. The Stoics believed that by accepting this, we can find peace and freedom. They said that when we stop chasing after pleasure and start focusing on what we can control, we become stronger and more resilient. This does not mean that we should never enjoy life, but it means that we should not let pleasure control us. The Stoics also warned us about the dangers of excess. Too much of anything, even something good, can become a problem. For example, eating a little chocolate can be enjoyable, but eating too much can make you feel sick. The Stoics believed that moderation is key. They said that we should enjoy life's pleasures, but we should not overdo it. This is because when we go to extremes, we lose balance and can harm ourselves. They taught us to be mindful of our actions and to avoid excess in all things. This way we can enjoy life without falling into the trap of overindulgence. Another important Stoic idea is that we should not compare ourselves to others when it comes to pleasure. In today's world, we often see people showing off their lives on social media. They post pictures of their vacations, their new cars, and their expensive meals. This can make us feel like we are missing out, or that we need to have these things too. But the Stoics believed that comparing ourselves to others is a waste of time. They said that true happiness comes from within, not from having what others have. They taught us to focus on our own lives, and to be grateful for what we have. This way, we can find contentment and avoid the trap of always wanting more. The Stoics also believed that suffering can be a teacher. They said that when we face difficulties, we have the opportunity to learn and grow. This is the opposite of pleasure, which often makes us comfortable, but does not help us grow. The Stoics believed that by accepting pain and challenges, we can become stronger and wiser. They said that we should not run away from suffering, but should face it with courage and strength. This is how we develop resilience and become better people. They taught us that life is not about avoiding pain, but about learning how to deal with it in a healthy way. In conclusion, the Stoics gave us many valuable insights about the dark side of pleasure. They taught us that, while pleasure feels good, it can also lead to problems if we are not careful. They warned us about the dangers of chasing pleasure, becoming slaves to it, and letting it distract us from what is important. They also taught us that true happiness comes from within, from living a life of virtue and understanding what is truly important. They said that we should enjoy life's pleasures, but we should not let them control us. Instead, we should focus on developing our character, practicing self-control, and facing life's challenges with courage and strength. By following these Stoic principles, we can find true happiness and live a meaningful life. The Stoics also reminded us that pleasure is temporary and that we should not depend on it for our happiness. They said that we should focus on what we can control and accept what we cannot. They taught us to be mindful of our actions, to avoid excess, and to be grateful for what we have. They also believed that suffering can be a teacher, and that by facing challenges we can become stronger and wiser. These Stoic insights are still relevant today, and they can help us navigate the complexities of modern life. By understanding the dark side of pleasure and following the Stoic principles, we can find true happiness and live a life of meaning and purpose. In the end, the Stoics believe that life is not about chasing after pleasure, but about living with wisdom, courage, justice, and self-control. They said that true happiness comes from within, from being the best version of ourselves and doing what is right. They taught us to be mindful of our actions, to avoid excess, and to face life's challenges with courage and strength. By following these Stoic principles, we can find true happiness and live a meaningful life. So let us remember the dark side of pleasure and the wisdom of the Stoics as we navigate our own lives. Let us strive to live with virtue, to focus on what is important, and to find true happiness within ourselves. This is the path to a good life, according to the Stoics, and it is a path that we can all follow.